The world tonight is strangely quiet, a kind of quiet that is not peaceful. But the silence that comes after the soul has grown too weary from hearing lies. People still smile, still touch one another, but somewhere between the handshakes is a chill like the eyes that know behind that smile something is not real. And in that silence, there is a soul watching, not with anger, nor with contempt, but with a gentle yet piercing light. The chosen one, an earth angel among humankind. They still walk through the streets like anyone else. A long cloak, a calm presence, eyes that do not look at people, but through them. Sometimes, just by passing by, someone suddenly grows quiet. Their heartbeat skips, not knowing why. Perhaps because their energy is too real, too direct, so much that the masks we wear begin to feel tight. Psalm 27:1 echoes within them like breath. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? A reminder that light never bows before darkness. It only chooses silence when the world is not yet ready to see. There was a time they thought angels had to be gentle, patient, and enduring. They once bowed their head, letting others cross the boundaries of their kindness. They once believed love could save everything, until they realized not everyone wants to be saved. Some love their own darkness so deeply that light becomes their enemy. And so, the chosen one learned silence. Silence not to suffer, but to observe, to know when to offer compassion and when to retreat, to guard the flame within. Once, they stood among a crowd where people argued, accused, and fought to be heard. Everything was chaotic like a shapeless storm. Amid the poisonous words, they only smiled, stepped back, and saw more clearly. In that moment, the world thought them weak, but they were seeing through different eyes that saw the fractured pieces of every soul. They were not angry, only saddened, knowing that all anger comes from fear. Then, in a dream, a voice spoke, soft yet clear, like a reminder from the far sky. Do not fear when your light makes others tremble. They do not tremble because of you, but because of the darkness within them. When they awoke, the chosen one knew the time of silence had ended. Light must be seen, not to prove, but to illuminate. From that day, they began to change the way they existed, no longer bowing when misunderstood, no longer smiling to ignore what is wrong. They spoke less, but every word carried the weight of truth. Their light was no longer a gentle beam, but a torch, burning away the fog that covered human hearts. Some avoided their gaze, feeling uneasy without knowing why. They did not realize it was the truth in those eyes that made them tremble. Because truth is the mirror, revealing what we do not wish to see. Once, an old friend said, "You've changed. You're not as kind as before." The chosen one only smiled. "I haven't changed. I just stopped pretending not to see." That answer was as light as the wind, yet within it was a storm long asleep. They remembered a verse from Psalms once read as a child without understanding. The Lord confides in those who fear him. Psalm 25:14. Now they understood fear does not mean trembling before God, but knowing when to be silent to listen and when to rise to act. From then on, every step they took carried the sound of awareness. No need for noise, no need for force, yet every action held an irresistible energy. People began to sense something different about them. No longer the gentle, sweet person they once knew, but a peace so profound it made others pause and reflect. And in quiet moments, they still prayed. Not to ask, but to thank, because they finally understood why they were sent to this world. Not only to spread love, but to teach that true love always comes with boundaries, and true light never fears the dark. That night, they stood on a hill, looking down at the city full of lights. Among thousands of false lights, they could still feel the loneliness of every soul searching for something real. A drop of water fell from the sky, touched their hand, cold and pure. They whispered softly, as if speaking to themselves. Every angel was once mistaken for a demon. Before the world learned that light can burn so bright it frightens, a gentle breeze passed by. In the mist, faint numbers appeared, 111, then faded. They smiled. That number had followed them for many days, appearing in the most random places: receipts, clocks, license plates. They knew it was not coincident. 111 was a sacred seal, the gateway of new beginnings, the confirmation that the soul was opening its own path. If someone else happens to see that number, pause and listen. For the universe never whispers without reason. Every sign is an invitation to remind you that you are not just an ordinary human, but a soul awakening. The night closed, the city still noisy beneath the hill. But within that silence, a new light had been lit. Not dazzling, not showy, but steady and radiant. And somewhere, among millions of dreaming souls, perhaps someone just awakened, feeling the same truth. That light has returned. The chosen one walked on. No one recognized them among the crowd, yet everyone who passed felt as if they had brushed against a different kind of breeze, gentle, deep, and strangely soothing to the heart. They did not know what to call that feeling, only that from that moment, something within them also began to awaken. For every time an earth angel awakens, the world trembles softly in return. The morning rose slowly, the sky filled with silver light, as if the night had not yet ended. The chosen one sat on the old stone steps, hands gently holding a cup of cold tea. They stayed silent, listening to the world breathe. The sound of distant cars, the wind brushing rooftops, and somewhere, the sound of their own hearts soft and deep, like a whisper from a place beyond memory. Since the light awakened within them, everything seemed different. There was no longer a boundary between the outside and the inside. Everything people said, every touch, every glance, became so clear that they could hear even what was left unsaid. The world still calls it sensitivity, but to them, it is awareness. Because only when the heart is refined in silence can we hear the language of the soul. They once saw kindness as an open door for everyone to enter. Now they understand. Light needs boundaries, just as the sky needs the horizon to define itself. One day, in a small cafe at the end of the street, someone came in, smiling too long, speaking too smoothly. They listened without interrupting. The words flowed like overlapping waves, each chosen to create a feeling of trust. But beneath it, the chosen one sensed a strange energy, a faint coldness hidden inside that sweet voice. They did not grow angry, did not react. They simply placed the cup of tea down, looked straight into the other's eyes, calm as still water. The person hesitated, their gaze faltering. In that moment, the words stopped. There was no need for confrontation. The truth revealed itself. Light does not shout. It simply exists, and darkness steps back on its own. In the days that followed, they noticed many glances change. Some turned away. Some showed respect. The world has always feared what it does not understand. But this time, they no longer tried to please anyone. Their gentleness was no longer a mask to be loved. It became a conscious strength, a choice made with awareness. In silence, an old psalm rose in their mind. Keep me from deceitful ways, and be gracious to me, and teach me your law. Psalm 119-29. They whispered it softly, like a sacred mantra. In a noisy world, keeping one's heart free from falsehood is a journey not meant for the weak. But they knew true light is always tested by fire, and purity is born only from the courage to stand alone. People said they had become cold. They smiled. No one could see the waves still moving within the moments of wanting to yield, the urge to embrace the whole world, but then remembering that love does not mean allowing others to cause harm. Love has wisdom, and that wisdom is the boundary itself. That afternoon, they walked along the river, sunlight spilling across the water in long streaks. The current carried leaves, pebbles, and bits of debris quietly drifting away. They watched it, seeing themselves in it once, letting unworthy things cling to their life. Once trusting someone only because they feared hurting them. Now, they learned to let go, like water leaving its source to find the sea. They knew they must leave the places that had run dry. As the sun sank lower, they felt a new energy flowing through. Not loud, not fierce, but clear and deep. A part of their soul was changing color, their light now edged with fire. From afar, church bells echoed through narrow streets. Each chime beat like the heart of the earth. They closed their eyes, listening within, where every sound dissolved into a single point of light. There was no fear, no desire, only pure awareness. They realized that true gentleness is never weakness. It is the choice to love instead of fight. But when needed, they would fight to protect that love. In that twilight, the wind carried another message. No one spoke, yet their soul heard it clearly. You were not sent into this world to please it, but to illuminate it. And with that understanding, the chosen one stood, as if the weight of the world had fallen from their shoulders. They no longer had to prove anything. A child ran past, laughing, tossing a pebble into the river. Ripples spread, then faded. They smiled, watching, seeing in those ripples the truth of every journey. Every act born from light creates an effect, even when unseen. Night returned. Beneath the shimmering sky, they looked up and saw the stars forming a small triangle, 3 points of perfect balance. In their heart, they knew 333 had sent its greeting, the mark of the guardian angels, a reminder that they were not alone on this path. If you see 333, remember, the angels are near. They do not save you. They only light the way so you can stand strong on your own. A faint smile curved at their lips. Darkness might surround them, but their souls stood firm like a pillar in the storm. No one could touch the peace within. And perhaps that is the greatest secret. Peace is not a reward, but the true nature of those no longer ruled by fear. Psalm 23-4 rose in their memory, like a warm breath flowing through the night. Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for you are with me. They looked around the streetlights, the hurried souls passing by, the eyes unconsciously searching for something beyond everyday life. In those eyes, they saw their old self. Once fragile, once believing they had to soften until they disappeared to be loved. Now they knew, to love is not to fade, but to shine. Darkness cannot overtake light. Only light that forgets itself becomes dark. And they, the chosen one, remembered who they truly were. A soul chosen not to remain gentle forever, but to remind the world that kindness and strength can exist in the same breath. A shooting star streaked across the deep violet sky. They smiled softly, hearing within the whisper of the universe, "You are ready." And in that moment, the sky no longer divided light from dark, only a single band of radiance stretched across the night, like a sacred line between love and wisdom, between silence and speech, between human and angel. The chosen one stepped across that line, each step light, yet each one made the earth tremble, for when true light moves, the whole world listens. Dawn rises, but not in brilliance. The light spreads thinly like a veil over the world, making everything appear both real and unreal. The chosen one walks through a quiet alley, each brick holding the faint echo of the night before. They are not in a hurry, never in a hurry, because once the soul has awakened, time is no longer something to race against, but something to listen to. In that stillness, something strange begins to happen. They see more clearly not with their eyes, but with the vision within. The shopkeeper smiles, yet behind that smile is a subtle fear. The girl walking by speaks cheerful words, but her soul feels heavy, bound by something unsaid. Every emotion becomes transparent as water, and the chosen one, somehow, understands without needing a single word. Once, that ability had drained them. Seeing too much, feeling too deeply, hearing what was never spoken, it was the burden of a sensitive soul. But now, with light awakened, they no longer fear it. They understand that empathy is not a curse, but a gift sent to heal the world. They sit on a wooden bench in the park, watching children run and laugh under the morning sunday. Everything seems ordinary, yet beneath the air, they feel the rhythm of the universe, an invisible pulse only awakened souls can hear. Within that flow, a thought drifts softly through their mind. Not everyone is ready to see themselves in the light. When light appears, what was hidden must be revealed. And that is why people fear earth angels. They do not need to speak. Their presence alone brings truth to the surface. A man approaches, eyes glimmering with confidence, his voice sweet as honey. "I've heard a lot about you. They say you can see through people. Is that true?" The chosen one does not answer. They simply look. A calm gaze, yet so deep that the man flinches. His smile fades, his voice breaks. In that instant, he knows every lie he planned to speak is useless, because the soul before him does not need to listen. It only needs to see. They do not expose, do not shame, do not rage. They simply smile, a gentle smile that makes others feel naked before truth. And that is what terrifies them. For light never uses force, yet it leaves no place for darkness to hide. A verse from Scripture echoes within their memory. a confirmation from above, for there is nothing hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing concealed that will not be known. Luke 8:17. The wind stirs the branches, leaves fall and spiral through the air. The chosen one closes their eyes, feeling each movement of wind against their skin, each breath of air like a message from beyond. Everything speaks to them: wind, water, light, even silence. And within that silence, they hear the call, "Speak, the time has come." That voice is not loud, not commanding. It is the voice of the soul, the reminder that light is not born only to shine, but to guide. They open their eyes. The world looks the same, yet everything is different. When a soul chooses to see with truth, all pretense fades like morning mist. They walk on, through faces, through souls. No judgment, only awareness, only love, from a distance that keeps them free. On a cobblestone path, they pause before a mirror displayed in a shop window. The reflection shows not only their face, but hundreds of layered memories, betrayals, manipulations, moments of being underestimated. Yet in that reflected gaze, there is no anger, only gratitude, for it was those very wounds that forged their light. Psalm 37:4 rises within their heart. Take delight in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart. And they understand. Joy does not come from being understood, but from being true to oneself. Their steps grow lighter, yet their spirit brighter. A breeze passes by, carrying the scent of jasmine. Everything around seems to speak in unison. Your light is ready to be shared. If someone were to see them now, they might notice only a stranger walking through the sunlit streets. But to souls that are searching, their energy is a calling. Wherever they go, the air seems to shift lighter, truer. People pause without knowing why, as if something invisible has just touched their hearts. The narrator's voice deepens, warm and resonant. If you are hearing these words, maybe you carry the same light within you. You do not need to prove anything. Just remember, you were chosen not to be perfect, but to be real. If this speaks to your soul, leave a comment to tell the universe you are ready. Share this message so your light can touch another soul. And if you are on your awakening journey, don't forget to subscribe, so we can walk this path together like small sparks rising to light the dawn. The wind rises. A sheet of white paper swirls through the air, dancing before them before landing softly at their feet. On it is a number, 111. They smile gently. The reminder returns once more. A new beginning. Another soul has just awakened. Somewhere among those who are listening, the chosen one lifts their gaze. Above, sunlight breaks through the clouds, golden rays falling like blessings. Each beam feels like a touch from unseen angels. In that moment, they no longer feel alone. Everything around people, earth, wind, sky, has become an ally of the light, and they know the journey has truly begun. No longer the life of an ordinary being, but the path of a soul that remembers its purpose. A path not promised to be easy, but filled with meaning. In the wind, the old voice speaks again, soft yet firm. You will make the world tremble, not through power, but through the light of compassion. The chosen one smiles. They understand. When light shines into darkness, both are transformed. And sometimes, the thing the world fears most is an angel who has decided to no longer hide their wings. The afternoon pours over the city like a warm golden veil. Light slips through every window frame, reflecting on glass panes, breaking into countless tiny fragments. Each one feels like a piece of a soul drifting through the air. The chosen one walks quietly among the crowd. No one notices anything special, yet everyone who passes them slows down for a moment, as if brushed by an invisible breeze. Something in their presence changes the space around them, a silent energy, yet heavy with power. When the soul aligns with its true essence, there is no need for many words. Their light knows how to speak on its own. A glance, a breath, a single step, all become whispers between them and the universe. Everything around seems to move in rhythm with that. The cat napping by the porch turns its head to follow them. A child stops crying, looks up, and smiles without knowing why. A man burning with anger takes a deep breath, as if remembering something long forgotten. The chosen one understands this is the power of presence. When you return to the frequency of your soul, you no longer need to make others change. You simply exist, and your energy, naturally, rearranges the world around you. They stop by the bridge, the wind brushing softly through their hair. The water reflects the dim light of sunset. In the stillness, they hear the whisper of their own soul. This is my path. Not one drawn by anyone else, but one written in my heart long before I was born. They close their eyes, and a verse from the Psalms flows through them like a gentle breeze. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. Psalm 139-14. The words make their heart grow still. Deep within, they remember all the years they had doubted themselves, once believing that light was a burden. Now they understand there is nothing more tragic than a soul that forgets its divine worth. The world does not need them to bow. The world needs them to stand tall, so that light may spread. A group of people passes by, full of laughter, pride, and glances seeking validation. But when they meet the chosen one's eyes, their laughter softens. There is no judgment, no condemnation, only a simple truth reflecting back at them. Sometimes, just by looking into those eyes, people suddenly realize how many masks they have worn just to be loved. Light never demands change, it simply reflects truth so others may see themselves. For a moment, one man speaks up. Who are you? Why do you look at me like that? The chosen one smiles gently, voice calm. I'm not looking at you. I'm looking at the part of you that you try to hide. The man hesitates, his eyes shifting, then lowering. Something inside him cracks softly, not from being judged, but from being truly seen. The chosen one walks away without looking back. They know that when light touches a soul, the darkness within must choose either to fade away or to begin its healing. The sun sets and the city lights up. Artificial lights fill every corner, yet to them, none can compare to the light within. They have long understood. Outer light helps you see the road, but inner light shows you which road to take. As they turn down a narrow street, the wind carries the scent of lavender from a small shop. An old woman is gathering fallen bundles of flowers. The chosen one stops, helping her pick them up. She looks at them, smiling kindly, though in her eyes lies a haze and old sorrow. Thank you, she says. Not many stop to help strangers anymore. The chosen one smiles softly and replies, the world isn't lacking good people, only those still quiet enough to notice. The woman looks at them for a long moment, then slowly nods. For an instant, her eyes glimmer not from understanding every word, but from feeling something warm and tender, like the touch of a gentle breeze reaching her heart. The chosen one walks away, sensing the gratitude behind them. And they understand, it isn't great miracles that change the world, but small moments filled with light like this. That night, they return to their small room. No lamps, only moonlight spilling through the window. They sit quietly, watching the silver streams slide along the walls like silent rivers. In the stillness, they remembered all the wounds, the betrayals, the times they were dismissed for being too gentle. Now, those memories feel like dry leaves falling into the water, drifting away without clinging. Psalm 91-4 arises softly in their mind, a tender comfort. He will cover you with his feathers, and under his wings you will find refuge. Now they understand. Refuge does not mean hiding it, means resting safely within the soul. Under the wings of the divine, they have learned to stand in the wind without being swept away, to walk in the world without being stained by it. Their light is no longer a flame for themselves alone. It has become a lantern for others, even when they don't realize they are being guided. A girl hearing their story online finds the courage to leave a toxic relationship. A young man reading their words learns to forgive himself. They don't know these things, but their energy spreads outward like ripples across the water. And then, within the quiet, they sense 333 again, this time not outside, but within their mind, pulsing in rhythm with the heart of the universe. They know the angels are still here, walking beside them in silence. The chosen one smiles, eyes glimmering like countless stars. Inside, there is no more doubt, no more fear, only gratitude for being part of a divine plan, for being sent to Earth not to be understood, but to remind humanity that true light never needs proof. They place a hand over their heart and whisper, "Thank you for teaching me how to be present." And in that moment, the room glows softly, not from any lamp, but from the light within them, the light that makes darkness, no matter how stubborn, begin to fade away. Outside, the night wind calms. The full moon drifts slowly across the sky, shining on the peaceful face of a soul that has remembered itself. An Earth Angel one who no longer needs wings to fly, for their very presence has become the miracle. That night, the sky hung heavy with clouds. The scent of rain lingered in the wind, thick and damp, like the breath of the earth. The Chosen One stood at the top of the hill, where the distant fields shimmered faintly with scattered lights. Those faraway lights flickered, fragile as human faith in a world full of schemes. Within them, something was awakening, no longer the gentle glow of compassion, but the flame of steadfast strength. For so long they had chosen silence. But true light exists not only to illuminate, but to protect what is right, to guard the souls of the weak, to preserve the sacred order that darkness always seeks to distort. And tonight, they knew their role was no longer that of an observer. A group of people gathered in the valley below. Their laughter rang sharp, mixed with cunning tones, like broken mirrors reflecting greed. The Chosen One did not listen with their ears, but with their soul. Every lie spoken was like a crack on the earth's surface, every malicious thought a small shadow crawling from the mouth. They saw it all, yet felt no contempt. They only saw fear, the fear of those desperate to control everything, afraid of losing power, afraid of being seen by the light. "Do not be afraid," a voice whispered within them, as if carried by the wind. Light never fights to win, only to ensure that truth is never forgotten. The Chosen One closed their eyes, inhaled deeply, and let the wind move through their hands. In that breath, they felt power rise not of anger, but of divine strength. They began walking down the slope, each step drawing light down from the sky. When they reached the valley, laughter and voices ceased. No one knew why. The man leading the group looked confident, smirking. "Who are you? What are you doing here?" The Chosen One did not answer. Their eyes were calm, yet deep as the sea. "I did not come to do anything. I came to remind the world that some things cannot be hidden." The man laughed, but the sound caught in his throat. The Chosen One's gaze turned every trace of mockery to dust. A thin light spread around them, not blinding but warm. Within that light, each person felt something stirring inside their dark thoughts. Old wounds and hidden lies, now clear as ink on white paper. No one spoke. Only truth echoed in the silence. The Chosen One stood still, neither angry nor proud. They were simply a guardian, not of mankind, but of the order of light. A verse from Scripture rose within them, like a vow. "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, for I am with you." Joshua 1-9. The words did not speak through their mouth, but through their heart, steadying them like stone. A strong wind swept through, lifting dust and dry petals into the air. The light around them grew denser, forming a faint halo. The man bowed his head, unable to look up. No one laughed anymore. "You do not need to fear me," the Chosen One said softly, voice as gentle as rain. "But if you choose to cling to darkness, know this light will always find you, sooner or later." They turned away, offering no sermon. True light needs no explanation, for it is felt, not understood. On the path back, rain began to fall. Each drop felt like a cleansing touch, washing away unseen dust from the air. The Chosen One lifted their face, letting the rain touch their skin and lashes. The sensation was real, cold, but pure. They knew the rain was no coincidence. The universe always restores balance. When darkness rises, so does the light. Amid the sound of rain, they heard Psalm 18:2 echoing gently, like a hymn from above. "The Lord is my rock, my fortress, and my deliverer. My God is my shield, my strength, and my refuge." They smiled. True strength does not come from muscle or weapon, but from a heart that knows where it belongs. When they returned to their small room, their cloak was soaked, their hair damp, but their eyes shone brightly. On the table, the candle from the night before was still burning. Its flame was small but steady, unshaken by the wind. They sat and watched it flicker. Each pulse of light was a reminder. Keep this flame alive, even if you stand alone. Some are given missions no one will understand. They are not born to be praised, but to stand guard while others sleep. They are the watchlights of the night, keeping the world from falling completely into darkness. The Chosen One knew this path was not for the many. It demanded solitude, misunderstanding, and at times being called too intense. Yet they accepted it. For once truth is seen, there is no turning away. The window was slightly open, the breeze slipping through, making the flame tremble. Their shadow cast upon the wall a still figure, half human, half light. In that merging, they heard the breath of the universe. Not a metaphor, a real deep rhythm, blending with their own. The warmth in their chest grew. Light is never alone. On the table, a sheet of paper damp from the rain revealed a faint number 555 spreading like ink. They smiled, knowing the second seal had come. 555, the mark of sacred transformation. When you see 555, do not be afraid. It does not announce chaos, but the rising of your soul to a higher plane. The old doors close, so destiny's door may open. The chosen one lit another candle. The new flame joined the old. The light now doubled. In their heart, they whispered, I am ready. If I must stand, I will stand. If I must speak, I will speak. But let my heart remain pure, so that in protecting truth, I never forget that truth itself is love. Outside, the rain stopped. A crescent moon rose behind the clouds, sharp as a blade of silver. Its light slipped through the window and touched their face. In that glow, the chosen one's features no longer seemed entirely human, but that of a guardian standing between two worlds, an angel without a sword, holding only light. Yet in that silence, darkness knew it had met what it feared most, a heart that cannot be conquered. And so, that night, as the city slept, light spread from the small room. Not bright, not loud, but steady, the heartbeat of a soul chosen to guard the world. A light that watches through the night, until a new dawn comes. Morning returned as if the storm had never been. The sun rose between layers of gray clouds, casting soft light over the earth, still wet with rain. The scent of moisture lingered in the wind, blending with the fragrance of soil and new grass, like a quiet song of rebirth. The chosen one stepped out of their room, cloak fluttering lightly. Sunlight reflected on their face, carrying a stillness that words could hardly describe. Not the stillness of silence, but of someone who has weathered the storm and learned that peace is not something the world can give or take away. They walked through the busy street, voices calling, horns blaring, footsteps rushing, all weaving together into the music of life. Once, those sounds would have exhausted them. Their sensitive soul had been wounded by too much noise, by the heavy energy of people living behind masks. But today, they simply smiled. All those sounds became background, while their heart remained a vast open space, untouched by disturbance. Someone brushed against their shoulder and muttered angrily. The chosen one turned, calm-eyed, neither angry nor reactive. The man started to say more, then stopped. Something in that serenity cooled his temper. He stared for a moment, then quietly walked away. No one knew that, in that brief instant, an invisible chain of energy had already shifted the course of his day. Peace is not the absence of conflict. It is the strength that makes chaos dissolve on its own. The chosen one understood that. They had walked through storms and learned that the true storm never rages outside, but within, in anger, in fear, in the hunger for control. When the inner world is calm, so is everything around it. At noon, they sat in a small cafe. Around them, people talked loudly. Phones rang, glasses clinked together. Yet they sat still, like a river untouched by wind. Each breath moved gently, like smoke. A young waitress brought over their drink, and when she met their eyes, she paused. She felt something, a quiet grace she couldn't name. She smiled, her voice softening as she placed the cup down. The chosen one nodded in thanks and closed their eyes. Inside, a verse rose like their own heartbeat. Be still and know that I am God. Psalm 46:10. They breathed deeply, letting the words dissolve within. Be still and know. Know that everything is arranged. Know that nothing happens outside the plan of love. Know that even darkness is part of the journey of light. In the corner of the cafe, a group of people argued loudly, their words sharp and defensive. One of them glanced toward the chosen one, saw their calm posture, and sneered, "Look at that, pretending to meditate in all this noise." The group laughed. The chosen one opened their eyes and looked at them, no anger, no judgment, just one glance, and the laughter stopped. One of them turned away, as if seen through to the core. They said nothing. They didn't need to. True peace always makes others reflect upon themselves. They rose and stepped into the sunlight. Each step was light as wind, each breath a thread connecting them to the universe. And then, in the middle of the crowded street, They paused. A woman was crying, holding her small child. No one stopped. Everyone was too busy. The chosen one approached, gently touched her shoulder. "Are you all right?" Their voice was soft, yet it carried far within the listener. The woman looked up, tears still glistening. Somehow, her chest felt lighter. The child stopped crying. The chosen one said nothing more, only smiled and walked away. When they disappeared into the crowd, the woman realized her hands had stopped trembling. Peace had passed through her like fire, spreading without words. Afternoon came. Clouds gathered again. But this time, they did not fear the storm, because they knew no storm could harm one who has become one with the wind. They returned to the riverbank. The water flowed gently, mirroring the pale gray sky. The chosen ones sat down, touched the surface, and saw themselves there, not just their face, but their soul, quiet, clear, without form. From deep within, they heard a whisper not from earth, not from sky, but from the space between, where all souls meet. You do not need to fight the world. You only need to keep your peace. Your peace will change the world. A thin beam of light struck the river, scattering into countless shimmering rays. On the surface, they saw numbers reflected 777, a triple pattern that rippled and faded. They knew the third sacred seal had appeared. 770. 7, the number of completion, of the soul's union with divine order. When you see it, you are walking the right path, where light and darkness no longer stand apart. The chosen ones smiled softly. They whispered, "Thank you for bringing me here." And in that moment, their gratitude reached not only to God, but to every storm that had taught them the power of peace. A passerby stopped and asked curiously, "What are you doing, sitting there?" The chosen one looked up, eyes shining gently. "I'm listening to the world breathe." The man chuckled, thinking it a joke, but their gaze silenced him. After a few seconds, he whispered, "Strangely, I can hear it too." They sat together without speaking, just listening to the water, the wind, the heartbeat of the earth. No words, only souls communicating through stillness. When the man finally rose to leave, he looked at the chosen one for a long moment. "Thank you. I don't know why, but I feel calmer now." The chosen one nodded, saying nothing. For a peaceful soul is the most living prayer of all. As night descended, they watched the city lights reflect on the river, glittering like fallen stars, and they knew each spark was a soul awakening those once lost, once broken, now finding light within again. Psalm 121-5 rose gently in their heart. "The Lord is your keeper. The Lord is your shade at your right hand." They closed their eyes, letting the words seep through every cell. It felt like being held in the palm of the Creator. No fear, no loneliness, only a stream of peace flowing endlessly within. A final breeze passed. The ripples on the river faded, leaving the surface still as glass. The chosen one looked into it and saw that they were no longer a person, but part of the vast ocean of light. And as they rose and walked away from the riverbank, the light moved with them, spreading step by step. Those who passed by couldn't explain why the air felt different, lighter, kinder. But those who were still enough could sense it. Peace had just walked by. For true peace is never loud. It simply exists. And when it exists, darkness bows. The night was still. No rain, no wind, only a thin mist draped over the world, like a veil the sky used to hide its ancient secrets. The chosen one walked along the silent road, each step echoing softly, steady and deep. Their heart was at peace, yet within it, something else was stirring a strength no longer of calmness, but of fire. Not a fire that destroys, but a fire that refines. For years, they had learned how to forgive, how to stay silent, how to stand steady in chaos. But now, their soul understood. To truly become light, one must pass through fire. Not the fire of the world, but the fire of the spirit where the old is burned away, so the true can be born. That night, when they returned to their old refuge, a stone house by the edge of the mountain, something in the air felt different. Still, yet heavy, as if memories were waiting to be named. They sat before the fireplace that had gone cold since yesterday. A few old embers still glowed faintly. They touched them gently, feeling the fragile warmth, and whispered, "O flame, if I must walk through you, let me be refined, not destroyed." As soon as those words left their lips, the fire suddenly flared up. No oil, no wood, only light, spreading across the room, casting moving shapes on the walls. Within that light, they saw themselves, the self from years past, innocent, kind, believing that love alone could heal all things. Then the image shifted. They saw betrayal, pain, misunderstanding. They saw the moments they wanted to give up, the tears that never fell outward, but sank deep inside. All of it passed before them like a film, and the chosen one watched silently, without resistance. The fire in their eyes mirrored every memory, every wound, but instead of pain, they saw light being released from the hurt, because every crack in the soul is a place where light slips through. A voice from long ago echoed the voice of someone they once loved. "You're too kind, too soft. You don't belong in this world." The chosen one smiled gently. No one belongs to the dark world when they were born to bring light. The fire rose higher. On the walls, the shadows melted into one another, forming a soft white glow. In that moment, they felt a powerful energy surge through them, not painful, but so deep it brought tears to their eyes. Not from sorrow, but from the relief of a soul being cleansed. As the fire calmed, the chosen one knelt and placed a hand over their heart. In the silence, they whispered a verse they had always carried within. "For you, O God, have tested us. You have refined us as silver is refined." Psalm 66:10. The words sent a shiver through them, yet also a smile, because now they understood the chosen are not protected from the fire. They are sent into it to become the flame itself. Late into the night, the wind began to rise. Moonlight slipped through the window, resting on their hands calloused, yet beautiful in their own way. As if every scar was proof of light forged through trials, they stood and opened the door. The mist outside glowed faintly, filled with tiny lights drifting in the air, wandering souls searching for home. They reached out, and a few of the lights floated to them, touching their skin, dissolving into their body. Each touch made their heart tremble softly. They knew these were fragments of the world's light seeking shelter. A star streaked across the sky, leaving a trail of brilliance. Within that trail, they saw numbers appear: 333, the sign of angelic companionship, a reminder that they were never alone. They nodded gently and whispered into the wind, "Thank you. I hear you." And the heavens seemed to answer. A soft radiance surrounded them, warm like an invisible embrace. Within that glow, they heard a whisper, "You are the torch in the night. Do not fear the fire. Burn, so others may find their way." They closed their eyes, and for the first time, their soul no longer trembled at its own power. They knew it was time not only to keep the light, but to become it. By morning, they returned to the city. The sky was gray, the air cold. Yet people noticed something strange as the chosen one walked by. Even under the dim sky, there was a gentle light along their path. No one could explain it, only that wherever they stood, the darkness seemed thinner. A child looked up and asked, "Mom, why is it bright where that person is?" The mother smiled. "Maybe it's the sunlight reflecting." But the child shook their head. "No, that light comes from inside." The chosen one heard it and turned, smiling softly at the child. In that moment, they knew the fire within was not meant only to guide themselves, but to awaken the fire within others. That night, they sat and wrote in a small journal, each line a quiet prayer. "Lord, if I must burn, let my flame give light, not destruction. If I must stand alone, let my heart stay soft. If I must lose everything, let me still keep my peace." When the last line was written, a drop of wax fell on the page, forming a perfect circle. Within that circle, the flickering candle reflected like the eye of the soul looking back at itself. Outside, the night began to fade. The first light of dawn spread across the sky, slow but sure. And in that sacred space between night and day, the chosen one whispered, "No one can break what has been forged in fire. I am the light. I am the flame. I am peace within the storm. And as I walk, it is not to prove, but to remind the world that light still remains." The wind stirred the door. Morning light fell upon their face, calm, gentle. But in their eyes burned a fire that would never go out. An earth angel one who had walked through darkness and returned, not with wings, but with a heart that cannot be broken. That morning, The city remained gray. Gentle rain fell steadily, like a thin curtain covering the things left unsaid. The chosen one sat by the window, hands wrapped around a warm cup of tea. Everything outside blurred softly, leaving only the sound of raindrops tapping the roof, steady and low, like the breath of the earth. In that stillness, an old question rose again. Does the world truly want to hear the truth? They had learned to observe, to keep peace, to love, without demanding. Yet something within their soul kept stirring a quiet flame, whispering its name. Truth. Not truth as accusation, but truth as light, shining to reveal, not to burn. The chosen one set the cup down and closed their eyes. In the silence, they felt a subtle movement in the air, a gentle but powerful energy, like a whisper from above. It is time to speak. The voice did not command, it invited. And they understood the time for silence had ended. The world needed truth, but truth spoken with love. They stepped out into the street. The rain still fell, each drop like a pearl. People hurried, heads bowed, hiding from the sky. The chosen one walked slowly, head lifted high. Each step seemed to quiet the air around them. Those who glanced their way felt something shift within, not knowing what, only that their hearts stirred. A man stopped and looked at them. "I've seen you somewhere before," he said hesitantly. The chosen one smiled. "Perhaps you have seen me in the truest part of yourself." The man froze, then lowered his head. Something in his chest unlocked. They had said nothing miraculous, but when truth is spoken from a soul that has been purified, it moves straight into another soul. Psalm 51:6 rose softly within them, warm as breath in the chest. "Behold, you desire truth in the inward parts, and in the hidden place you make me to know wisdom." They smiled. Truth is not a weapon. It is a bitter medicine that heals. They remembered the years of being misunderstood for speaking what others didn't want to hear. The suspicious glances, the mocking words, the times of being shunned. But now they understood light always makes the eyes ache before they adjust to it. By noon, they reached a small square where a group of people were arguing. Voices rose, sharp with accusation. The air vibrated with tension. The chosen one stepped closer, not to interrupt, only to watch. The energy brushed against them, yet instead of being pulled in, it dissolved like smoke in the wind. A man turned toward them, shouting, "Why are you just standing there? If you don't choose a side, you're avoiding the truth." The chosen one looked at him calmly. "I choose truth. Neither side belongs to darkness." The man faltered, speechless. The crowd grew quiet. The heavy air eased, leaving only the sound of wind weaving through rooftops. Truth does not need to shout. It only needs to be spoken with a clean heart. When the crowd dispersed, they sat on a stone step, their hand resting on the damp ground. The energy of the earth vibrated faintly, answering back. They understood that every soul is a seed, and a seed only grows when the soil truly opens. The world is the same. If the soil of the heart remains hard, light cannot enter. Another verse rose within their mind, like a message from the heavens. "You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free." John 8:32. Freedom, the word, rang like a bell, resonating through their chest. They whispered, "Let my words be not to condemn, but to liberate." Evening approached. The rain had stopped, leaving puddles that reflected the violet sky. On the water's surface, they saw the number 999 shimmering before fading away. They exhaled softly, smiling. 999, the number of completion, of release from old cycles. "If you see 999, they said quietly, "it means a chapter has closed. Don't fear the ending, only when something closes can rebirth begin." A breeze swept by, swirling dry leaves around them. In the rustling sound, they heard a whisper. "Let go." They closed their eyes. Faces appeared, those who had hurt them, voices that had wounded, memories long buried. Each one passed before them like a film. They watched without turning away. Then they whispered, "I forgive. Not because you deserve it, but because my soul deserves freedom." Tears fell not of pain, but of release. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. It means returning everything to where it belongs. Sunlight broke through the clouds, striking their tear-streaked face, making it glow. Passers-by glanced their way. Not knowing why, they suddenly felt lighter inside. Perhaps because one soul had just laid down a burden on behalf of the world. When night came, The chosen one sat beside a small candle. The flame flickered gently, casting 1,000 shifting shapes upon the wall. Each one moved, yet did not die. A reflection of their soul, soft yet unbreakable, tender yet strong. They took up their pen and wrote in their journal, "Truth is a sword, but love is the hand that holds it. Without the hand, the sword wounds. With it, the sword becomes an instrument of light." They paused, looking into the flame. Within it, they saw their own reflection, a soul burning bright with truth. Outside, the wind whispered through the window. Church bells rang in the distance, slow and steady, like the heartbeat of the world. The chosen one placed a hand over their heart and whispered, "I have spoken, I have forgiven, and now I am at peace." In the darkness, the voice of the storyteller softened, yet lingered in the air like an echo of a promise. Nothing is stronger than a soul that has chosen truth. Nothing more powerful than love guided by wisdom. For when truth and love meet, the world no longer has room for darkness. The candle kept burning, small but steady. And that night, in perfect silence, an earth angel spoke truth with a heart washed clean. Dawn broke gently. The air was fresh after the night's rain, making the city look washed. Clean trees still glistened with dew, and the wet streets reflected the faint gold of early sunlight. The chosen one walked slowly, feeling as though each breath was being absorbed by the earth. They could sense the shift in everything, not just in nature, but in the energy of the world itself. One cycle had closed, and a new chapter was beginning. There was peace, but deep within, another lesson was waiting to be learned: love. Not the dreamy, blind love humans often sing about, but the kind that has walked through darkness, learned to stand firm in the wind, and knows how to say no. The chosen one once believed that to love meant to open every door, to welcome every soul, no matter what they brought. They once thought love was endless forgiveness, sacrifice to the point of emptiness, holding on even when it meant losing oneself. But now they understood that was not love. That was fear. When you fear losing love, you become its slave. But when you know that you are love, you are free. They stopped by the lake. The surface was smooth as glass, mirroring the brightening sky. A couple passed by, holding hands, laughing. It seemed like an ordinary moment, yet to the chosen one, it carried deeper meaning. They realized that love is not about holding on tightly to someone, but about having the courage to let go when love no longer carries light. A soft breeze swept across the water, and they heard the whisper of Psalm 37:4, this time sounding like the voice of the divine itself. "Delight yourself in the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." They understood. True love does not come from needing or proving. It comes when you find joy in your own being. When the soul is whole, love is no longer a craving, but an overflow to be shared. The chosen one closed their eyes and remembered those who had crossed their path, souls who came and went, leaving wounds, but also lessons. Some came to teach compassion. Some came to teach boundaries. Some came to show that not everyone is worthy of your light. And some came only to remind you that true love always has standards. Those standards do not come from pride, but from self-respect. A soul that truly loves will never ask you to lose yourself. If someone demands that of you, it is not love. It is possession wearing the mask of affection. They opened their eyes. The lake reflected a stronger light now, and on the water's surface, the number 777 appeared once again, not as a reminder, but as confirmation that they were on the right path. 770. 7, the number of awakening and spiritual completion. When it appears, it means your soul is aligning with its highest truth. The chosen one smiled. They understood that the love they were learning now was no longer between two people, but between the soul and the source. That love is the foundation, the breath of the universe, both gentle and structured, unconditional, yet governed by divine order. In that stillness, a voice spoke within their heart. You were made to love without condition, but not to be used without boundaries. The words sent a shiver through them. For years, they had mistaken kindness for blindness and forgiveness for submission. But not anymore. Their compassion remained, yet it had become wise. They stood and continued walking. Along the way, a weary man approached, his eyes carrying the sadness of the world. His voice trembled. I loved someone, but they betrayed me. I want to forgive, but I can't. How do I let go? The chosen one looked at him, their voice as soft as breath. Forgive, but do not return. Forgive so your heart can be free, not so someone can keep hurting you. The man lowered his head, tears falling not of sorrow, but of relief. I understand now, he whispered. Forgiveness isn't weakness, it's wisdom. The chosen one placed a hand on his shoulder. When you release hatred, you do what darkness cannot. You keep love alive in this world. At those words, the wind shifted. A thin ray of sunlight broke through the clouds, falling on them, one redeemed, one radiant. When the man left, the chosen one watched him go and sighed softly. They knew every soul must find its own way to that truth. No one can walk the path for another, only light the way. That afternoon, they sat again by the lake and wrote in their journal, "Love is not opening the door to everyone, but knowing who is worthy to enter. Unconditional love does not mean without limits. Boundaries are the shape of light." The wind turned the page, revealing an old line they had written long ago. Light does not fear darkness, but it never merges with it. They smiled. The words finally made sense. As the sun sank, they stood and watched the last rays fade across the water. Everything grew still, and in that silence, they heard a whisper not from wind or earth, but from thousands of awakening souls. "We are learning to love this way too." The chosen one nodded gently, like a teacher watching the first student understand. They gazed into the sunset and spoke softly, as if to those listening on the other side of the screen. If you hear this, if your heart feels this truth, leave the number your soul resonates with. 111, 330, 3, or 777. Each number is a seal, a vow that you are awakening with the light. And if this reminds you that you are not forgotten, share it because the world needs your light too. Night fell. The first star sparkled above. The chosen one looked up, its glow reflecting in their eyes. No one knew that, in that moment, an invisible prayer rippled across the earth. May every heart learn to love with wisdom, to forgive without forgetting, to love without losing oneself, and to keep its light, even when love is tested. They smiled and closed their journal. The night deepened, peaceful and vast, and within the breath of the wind, their story continued to spread like the gentle light of love with boundaries, illuminating the souls who once believed that sacrifice was the only way to be loved. The final night of the journey, the sky unfolded like an ocean, deep and still, glittering with thousands of stars, each one a soul watching from above, witnessing the return of the light they once forgot. The chosen one stood in the valley, surrounded by soft wind and the scent of earth. The world seemed to hold its breath. There was nothing left to fight, nothing left to prove, only presence pure, whole, and peaceful. They lifted their gaze to the heavens, eyes reflecting starlight. In the silence, every moment of their journey flowed through their mind. Like a slow-moving film, the times they fell, the nights they cried without sound, the prayers whispered into emptiness. All of it had led here to the place where endings were not endings at all, but the beginning of a soul that finally understood. A familiar voice spoke within, warm and clear. "You have kept your light, even when the world tried to put it out." A tear fell, not from sorrow, but from gratitude. Every pain turned to light, every memory into prayer. In that moment, the chosen one knew awakening is not a destination. It is the state of a soul that remembers it belongs to the light. They knelt and placed a hand on the earth, feeling its slow and steady heartbeat, soft as the breath of a mother. Their voice trembled gently as they whispered, words that echoed through the still air. "Thank you for letting me live, fall, learn, and return." A warm wind stirred, carrying dry petals that swirled around them. In that breeze came the melody of Psalm 91-11, as if sung by the heavens themselves. "For he will command his angels concerning you, to guard you in all your ways." They smiled softly. They had never been alone. The signs, the numbers, the invisible glances, all had been messages from the divine, guiding the soul home. In the quiet, a thin beam of light descended from the sky, surrounding them. It did not dazzle or blind, it was gentle and deep. The light soaked into every breath, every cell, every memory. Their body grew lighter, as if melting into the universe itself, no longer separated from the heavens. They saw their soul rising through layers of light, where there were no words, no form, only awareness. They saw the souls who had gone before, smiling in welcome, eyes shining like stars. A tender voice resonated, music woven through the cosmos. You have returned. But remember, return does not mean to leave. You will carry this light down once more. They opened their eyes and found themselves still in the valley. Everything looked the same, yet everything within had changed. Darkness no longer frightened them, for they had become light. Moonlight spread across the land, glimmering on the grass like a field of candles. As the chosen one walked, faint trails of light shimmered and vanished behind them. A number appeared in their mind, 888. The number of infinite beginnings, 880. 8 when you see it. It means the circle has closed and opened at once. Every loss has become a seed, and you are about to harvest your light. They exhaled softly, not from weariness, but fulfillment. Deep down, they knew the journey was not ending. It was transforming. From here on, they would no longer wander in search of light, but carry it for those who were just awakening. Across the sky, a shooting star traced a bright line and vanished. They whispered to the world, if you are hearing this, if your heart is stirring, then your light is awakening too. You are not small. You are part of the ocean of light that God has breathed into existence. Rise and remember who you are. The wind rose, carrying the echo of countless souls in unison. We remember. They closed their eyes and let the wave of energy pass through them, merging completely. In that instant, all boundaries dissolved. No more I, no more they. Only we, souls, remembering the first light together. Then came one final verse. Like a golden key closing the journey, the light shines in the darkness, and the darkness has not overcome it. John 1-5. The words rang like a bell across the valley, vibrating through everything, then slowly fading into stillness. The chosen one stood quietly, eyes lifted toward the horizon, where dawn was beginning to rise. There were no more questions, no more fears, only love and knowing. They spoke softly, as if to every soul listening across time. If this story touched your heart, it is not by chance. No one hears the call of light by accident. Leave the number that your soul feels drawn to 111, 333, 777, or 888 as a sign that you too are awakening. And if your light has stirred, share it. The world needs you, not someone else. You. Like, share. Let the light travel farther, so those still asleep may see the first dawn. The wind grew calm. Morning light spread gently across the valley, brushing against their face. And in that light, the chosen one smiled, a smile without sorrow, carrying only the peace of a soul that has fulfilled its mission. They turned and walked toward the sun, their forms slowly fading into the growing light. No more footsteps, no more voice, only a feeling that the light remains here, within me, within you, within all who are ready to remember. Blessed are you, awakening one. For this world does not need more miracles. It only needs more souls who remember they are the miracle. And so the story closed, not with an ending, but with a long, peaceful breath. The light continued to flow, soft and steady, passing through every open heart, every listening soul. And somewhere in the infinite expanse, a voice whispered once more, the farewell of an angel. You are home. Grateful that you chose to spend these moments in the light of this story. If it touched your soul, please like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell so the next whisper of light may find its way back to you.